is this percentage of float traded column. We're going to talk about that more when I do the demo, but this is an example of a custom filter column that I designed with Brad. Brad, when did we do it? Like 2 weeks ago, maybe?
Yeah, maybe a week and a half ago.
Yeah, somewhere around a week and a half ago, and it's really been so popular because, again, it's providing you a visual on things that otherwise you wouldn't have seen. And Brad and I have since, again, created other windows from this. And the idea here is, again, how does this help you, get to alpha faster? Well, what I'm showing here in Shake Shack is that, and it's the one that's highlighted the most, is that it traded 59% of its float today. And again, we've touched on this topic that in order to have an edge, you've got to have some kind of a thesis. Okay, you've got to be doing something other than just looking at a chart and thinking that it's going to go up, because that's what everybody's doing, and you can't just randomly guess at it. And we have data to show what happens if you do randomly guess. But here, in terms of the float, what we're looking at is a type of demand situation that is just outpacing the supply of actual stocks available. And again, while that does not guarantee that that this is indeed the one day that is the turnaround day, as you've heard in our presentations, we look for footprints. And this is another type of footprint that we pick up. And now the beauty of this is the next part, which is it creates new components for our AI to look at. So a gentleman had asked, well, what's the odds maker? Okay. Well, the odds maker is our technology of how we look at anything that comes through on trade ideas, like the data that you were watching here. Like, for example, stocks that are, let's say, moving aggressively but are trading a large percentage of their float. And we help it create a strategy out of those components. And so when we add a field like metadata of float traded, that becomes another data point that's an arsenal in our AI that it can constantly go back and forth on. So that's really, again, what Brad and I are going to be discussing today is how this process is not just a process that like stops at us, but what it allows our customers to do is to create a product that then, again, not only can they use, but also the AI inside of Trade Ideas can use as well. So I'm going to minimize the presentation here. Whoops, sorry, that's the midpoint. I'm going to minimize the presentation, and I'm going to now show you my desktop. Again, let me, Brad, are you able to see my desktop well? Again, I'm
Yeah, it
going
looks
to
great. You're fine. Yeah, it
okay.
looks good.
So what you guys see here is an after-hours layout of a Trade Ideas Pro channel. We have the channel bar that's on the left, and I'm looking at after hours right now. I have 2 top lists where I can see change in post-market, so what's up the most after market, and what's also trading the most in post-market volume. Okay, so just different ways that you can see it. And notice how we have change from post-market is a column that, by the way, again, you can use as a reference point in analysis and other things.
Yeah, and that is actually a new data point that we added to the software about 2.5 weeks ago. So that's relatively new.
Right, and that's, by the way, as Brad said, that's another reason why it's so good to come to these Q&A webinars, because remember, you get to see all of the powerful new stuff that, it might take a little while to discover. So to find change from post-market, you would just go to Configure and go to Search and type in post, and there you go. It's in percentage, in dollar, and there's the post-market volume. So just more power. It continues to grow, okay? And these channels are surfable. During the day, people are constantly going back and forth, looking at different points of view on the idea generation scale, because what will happen is a lot of times you'll see something on the social media, right, that'll pick up your attention, like let's say ASTI, Okay, and again, I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying that that really would have happened. But you pick it up, and then you may go to the search channel, and you'll see that it might appear in some of these windows. So it kind of gives you a differentiated confirmation. Like, oh, look at this. This thing is here. It's on the search channel. It's moving in a lot of ways that different people are going to see it. That might mean that it's a possible good way to think about a continuation strategy. So, and again, everything's linkable in our software. So just very quickly, you're able to identify trends that you want to see and quickly visually confirm, and you can right away say, oh, okay, some bad print, let's not even think about that, and move right along, okay, until you find something interesting. Wow, look at orbits. Then you can quickly, with a control and mouse scroll, you can zoom in and out for different time frames. Again, so there's just a lot of power already in the charting, even though it's barely a few months old. Okay, so all of this is available. And one of the easiest ways to get started is simply going through channel surfing and finding an idea. Again, another important resource is our chat room during the day, which is manned by Barry Einerson, and it's where many active trade ideas clients and just visitors in general are there looking to see how these professionals are using this technology, sharing ideas, and also the calls. People are calling out actual trades and giving each other kind of packed feedback. It's a powerful combination that really takes you through the different elements of the learning curve. Okay. So now, Brad, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually minimize. So first of all, I'm going to show you that you can just work around the software very quickly. I'm going to get rid of the channel bar, and you can make views that are just specifically and distinctly what we say your own. Okay, so here again, I'm adjusting the charts. Notice that everything just moves easily. You can combine them in any way that you like. And here I'm just so that when I make these examples, you guys will see, a prettier, better picture. And by the way, wow, what a move this was today. Okay, this is another thing. Trade Ideas specifically is looking to help you find these moves, so that you're not just saying, oh my God, look, it was a gap. No, there's 1, 2. There's really a nice 10-minute period here where things were happening, and there was a lot going on that you could have participated in. So again, we also aren't shying away from smaller volume stocks as well. It's kind of like a fallacy for you to necessarily need to trade stocks that trade 1 million shares. It's kind of silly. Active investors trade 100 share, 200 share, 300 share lots. You can completely trade a stock that trades 10,000 shares, 15,000 shares. It's no problem at all, and that's where a lot of the alpha is actually hiding. So that's another point of view. So we're going to show you today a couple of new things that Brad and I designed, and I'm going to talk about how I came up with the idea, what it was, and how it works. Okay. So we're going to start with this window. Actually, let me bring it back up here, and I'm going to minimize this one. So this window is a window that I kind of touched upon in the PowerPoint. It's called percentage of float runners. And what it is it's a window that's basically showing you stocks that are moving, and they're moving a significant percentage of their float. Okay, so like ITCI, okay, big gap and continued higher. MRTX was, again, 17% traded today, a lot of volatility, okay, on this down move. It doesn't have to be positive. But what we decided is that, so this the percentage of float traded, and using float as the combination of being able to access float data, for example, and dollar volume data as well, which I'm going to put right over here, made Brad and I kind of think about the concept of efficiency. Okay, and what we were thinking of was that wouldn't one speculate that once you get past like certain minimums, that the less money it takes to move up the most, in essence, the most efficient that allocation of money is. So we started to think about that concept. Brad, did I mumble through it, or would you like to add anything?
No, I mean that's right. I mean it's really, I think you hit it. But as you get through it, I think it'll become a little clearer.
Okay. So again, think about this, guys, and at Trade Ideas, we're here at the Q&A. You're sharing with the professors. That's Brad and I. And what we're trying to say is that we're looking for a different way to look at data. So when we invented this percentage of flow traded today, it got us thinking about the whole concept of, well, you know, what's up the most on a percentage basis? Like, look at this, you know. But at the same time, in terms of dollar volume, was not that, you know, it was low dollar volume but high percentage basis. And we said, where is that hiding? So you can kind of see like this one right here possibly is one example. Because it on 310,000, it went up 3%, okay, which is a pretty significant move. Okay. And like we said before here, I mean, it traded 32,000 shares, but for someone who's buying 200 or 300, that's where, you know, that's where you're going to get the opportunity to actually capture some alpha. So I'm going to minimize this window, and I'm going to show you guys now what we call the money lubricant factor. Okay. So it's called, this is a column that's called efficiency small cap. The higher the number, the more we call this, the higher the efficiency.
And it's also, Dan, it's important to point out that we're really using the ranking technology inside of these top lists. It's not as important, the value of that number, as it is that number compared to the other symbols that are present in that list. So just keep that in mind as we're going through it.
No, and absolutely, and remember too, guys, that all these windows, so they can be sorted. Servers, this is a server sort, okay? So they can be sorted on a lot of different things. And here, I'm already trying to find the stocks. Remember, we talked about it before, where they're trading a decent percentage of the float today, because we're looking for that kind of possibility or a higher probability of continued momentum. So we do that, and we said, okay, well, out of these stocks, okay, which ones where if I apply money, like for every $1,000 I apply, I'm going to get the biggest move? And it turns out that in this case, it was STXS. Okay, and this was how it looked all throughout the day on a total of 707,000, yeah. So in the next one, TACT was the next one right after that in terms of efficiency, where on a percentage basis it went up 6% today on only $288,000 of money spent. And again, think about this. How often do you ever, everybody usually always thinks about, oh, look at the share volume, right? But when you say things in shares, it's really hard to relate. You know, well, what does that really mean? 500,000 shares? I mean, it all has to do with the price. So the dollar volume kind of speaks to that more of a human relational monetary factor. And so what we did was we created an efficiency column where we said, okay, let's take the percentage that it's up and multiply it, or rather divide it by the dollar volume, and then create an absolute value, and then put a multiple in there so that we can rank them. And this is what it looks like. So the other thing, as soon as we did that, then we said, well, you know what you can do? This is one for the day, right? But here's one where we did something very similar, but efficiency for the last 30 minutes. And again, you can resort it. So this is where we, again, are taking our data points, the ones that we keep track of, the 30-minute time frame, and we're creating an efficiency component metric to it. And once we create this, and if we like it, then we can give this to our AI to crunch and say, is maybe an efficiency component number is yet another number that can help us create better strategies in the AI channel that we're in the process of releasing very soon. So this is what we think is the frontier that we're trying to help you see. I mean, notice again, although you can do it, but we're not looking for the Amazons and the price lines and the Teslas, because everybody's already looking at those. To capture some alpha, unless you want to just, ride an index wave or an ETF wave, you have to be looking at different things. So here again, we're looking at the most efficient up move, is what you can say, on a dollar per dollar basis. Okay, it only took 288,000 for Transact Technologies to go up 6.7%, making it the most efficient for the day. I'm sorry, over 30 minutes. I'm sorry, for the day it's like this. Let me resort that. There you go. That's stereo.
I'm going to go ahead and post that formula in the chat room so people can see that as well.
Right. So notice also, guys, that very quickly, visually, right, without even having to need to look at a chart, I'm looking over here, and this Transact Technologies, TAC, it jumps out at me. Okay. It jumps out at me, I mean, aside from the fact that this is a pretty big number, so we're saying it's very efficient, but here's what else we find. It's on yearly highs. In fact, it's like made yearly highs today. I'm going to scroll again. Okay. So it has not been at these levels. I mean, it's basically in a gap fill mode now. Okay. So look at again, now you have a reason to look at this longer term picture. This could be a real legitimate trend reversal, and I'm not saying they made it easy, but this is what data mining is about. Certainly over the last, let's say, I mean, for sure here's a year, roughly speaking. Yeah. 7, down there's 14. So this one is really making a very strong move, and it has that efficiency, so that at the very least, if all you do here for today's Q&A seminar is keep an eye on this stock. This is what Trade Ideas is about. Okay, keep an eye on this stock because something interesting could be happening. So let's look at approach resources. And by the way, the oils were really moving today, okay? Well, it's interesting to find one that also efficiency, in terms of efficiency, it's in the top 3. It's at the height of its 20-day range, traded, almost 2 times normal, but it's coming out of this yearly, it's basically making a V bottom right here. Okay, this is another one that we are telling clients that they should be keeping an eye on, because the way it's behaving, if there is any kind of positive trend for this stock that they present themselves, its efficiency rating is going to make it move quite a bit, because it took 2.54 million for it to go up 14%. And in terms of the grand scheme of things, in terms of money, I mean, if some real money goes into it, it's going to be very interesting. So this is, again, our positioning year, our range columns. Okay, they really allow you to see what's going on, and also the way that we break up this data. So the volume today percentage on Transact, the one that we were talking about right here, I mean, we're talking about 1,000%. Okay, and
Relative volume is
That's,
super huge on that one as well. If you look at those daily
yeah.
volume bars down at the bottom, today's volume bar really stands out, and that was indicative of that relative volume column. I'm sure that was, highlighted super early in the trading day.
Oh, absolutely. And so again, notice how you go to the 19, the 13, the 9. There's a lot of science inside of trade ideas in terms of what makes people see things. And we are a very science-based company, and we are trying to kind of right away steer you into the layered pieces of data. And what's really cool about it, Brad, and I kind of like love this as just, not a segue, but if you can imagine for a second how a computer processes this data, I kind of feel like it sees exactly what we're saying, because it is able to see all these rankings, like the way our AI engine is ranking all the rankings. It sees exactly what your eyes are trying to convey to you. Importance of this, ranked with that, and this, and this, and they're like, wait a minute, but this one's a little different. Weakness on both sides. So maybe it would take a little more. We don't know. Is this a real bottom yet? It could be. Today's action was very like that, but it needs more is what it's saying.
Yeah.
So that's Brad, kind of to me was just the fact that you and I had this epiphany and we used the what we found with the percentage of the float and jumped right into a way to use that and make that using completely two different other filters and efficiency monitor. Just showcased the power of this technology.
Well, it does. I think it also highlights really the capabilities of what our derived data does. And, we always talk about the special data points that we create that allows us to do some AI off of. But giving the end user, giving you guys the ability to create your own custom data points off of this data, even off of our derived data, it just makes it so powerful.
Well, I want to bring this other window up. Let me see if okay. So remember we made this efficiency. So this is efficiency for small caps, and remember what we said, it works kind of like how much bang do you get for your buck. The most efficient are the ones where it takes the least amount of money to move the most percentage points. Okay? So look at your favorites coming in here. Look at Microsoft. What it basically says is, man, it is almost impossible to budget this thing. Very inefficient. It takes an immense amount of dough for it to do nothing. Okay? Cisco, MasterCard. I mean, we're not saying that these are bad stocks, by the way. I mean, they're very volatile, but just in terms of the amount of money that it takes to be put into these. I mean, there's so much going on that as it turns out, the names that a lot of people, are used to, what you learn about in, on all the indices and what everyone's talking about in CNBC, I mean, the efficiency ratings are just not that high because it takes an immense amount of dough to do anything with them. But here, on the other end, if you resort this is where you can find where your money, and these are all large caps. Look at the market cap here. I'm going to put that right here so everyone can see it. So this is not just only for day trading micro cap stocks. That would be silly. We want to create something where you can really, apply it to all sorts. I mean, you could be trading these stocks in 10,000 or 50,000 share blocks, and we have big hedge fund customers who have kind of asked us for this type of ability to rank. If this meets my criteria, where can I get the most bang for my buck? Well, this is how it's done. So again, you can look at it, and it was the same thing. As soon as you do that, you can then change it and focus back on the 30 minutes for a more short-term type of situation. Where you're looking for 4 cents, but in that 4 cents, you could be moving, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 shares. Possible. So, okay. Why don't we take a quick break? What I'm going to do real quick right now is I'm going to do the part about our pricing so that everyone knows that, again, if you want to take a look at trade ideas, we're going to show you how much everything costs so that there's no surprises. And Brad, while I'm doing that, obviously if you can field any kind of questions in the question and answer section, that would be amazing. And then afterwards, we'll come back and we'll ask more specific questions and talk more about how you can use this in AI and alerts. So, okay. I mean, let's see, I think this will be fine. Okay, so this is the Trade Ideas price schedule. Okay, so for everyone that wants to subscribe to our services, it's pretty straightforward. We have a monthly rate, which includes the charting and a custom one-on-one session with one of our directors of education. We have an annual rate, which is a superb offer for $888. Also gives you everything that you get in the monthly, but it's cheaper because it's annual. And also our odds maker, which people had asked. So what is the odds maker? The odds maker is your access to our database. It's a key to actually a lot of things. Okay, so the odds maker, if you're a gamer, it's this thing that unlocks your ability to do a lot of things with us. Number one, it lets you take any alert and filter combination and trade ideas and see if it can become a strategy. You can build strategies. Number two, it gives you access to our AI channel, which is going to be coming out here in September. Brad and I are going to see the first version of the window tomorrow, I believe, at our tech meeting. And by the way, super excited about that. So yeah, the odds maker is your gateway to this. It's for the people who are really looking to take alpha capture to the next level. And I would say that, Brad, over 90% of the customers who have our software and have used it for over 2 years do use the odds maker for their assisted trading and alpha capture ideas. So that's really, again, that's just a quick overview. There's going to be more. At the end, I'll give out special promo codes so that everyone can take advantage of some really, again, very good offers for attending this and listening to us to talk about our technology. So let me minimize.
So Dan, maybe you could, maybe you could show Greg. He asked an interesting question: how to create an alert window starting with a Topless window.
Okay.
It's a great question, and I would categorize that more of an advanced one, but let's go for it.
Okay. So a lot of people ask us this, and by the way, I mean, one of the things I want to first say is, like, there's a lot of colors and our data is very rich, but don't be intimidated by this. I mean, it's just data points, and again, you don't have to know how to do this. You can just ask us and we'll give you these. I mean, we hand all of these out, but we do have an active, like, customer developer community where people create these on their own, and we just like to showcase it. So in this case, let's figure out how to trade these small cap money lubricant moves. So what you first do is you go to the configuration window and you kind of take a look. What do you got here? Okay, so I hide the unused, and I'm just kind of trying to make so that I see what I'm working with. Okay, so here I basically have stocks that are not gapping up too much, that are up a little bit from the close, have a dollar volume of 200,000. So again, some's happening. I'm in the price of one. Some float that avoids some of that ETFs and other things like that. And I also said, I believe here, a 1/10 of a change, percentage change over the last 30 minutes. So there's some positiveness to this. Okay, so you can see that this is generally, the filters here are positive. Okay, now that I know that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click and I'm going to select Collaborate. Okay, so Collaborate is kind of like our older version of how we used to help people and share, but it allows, just like the word collaborate suggests, for you to do things with this. You can give this to us, you could send this to a friend. I'm going to say copy all. So I did collaborate, and then I'm copying everything that's already highlighted. Copy all. Disappeared. So now I'm going to go File, and I'm going to say, I'm going to say load new avert window. Okay, and I'm going to take any window. It doesn't really matter what it is because I'm going to be changing it. And I'm going to hit OK. And so here I have this new window. So now that I have it, I'm going to change it to the factors that we had in here. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say collaborate. And now I'm going to delete what's in here. Let me, if my delete button would work. Oops. Delete and delete. And you actually didn't have to do it. You can also paste over it, but I want to make sure that you know that once that you select collaborate, then you paste the link that you had taken from the top list. I'm going to hit OK. And now we basically have what's called a money lubricant factor alert window. Okay, and there's really, I don't think I have any alerts selected. It's probably just a heartbeat. Yeah, a heartbeat just lets you know, hey, here's a stock that meets these conditions. So then I can go to my alerts and I can say, okay, well, when do I want to see one of these guys do something, right? So one of my favorite alerts to like start watching things is called running up now. I'm going to hit add alert, and I'm going to say I want to make sure it was at least 10 cents, okay? And I'm going to say money lubricant factor small cap running up, and I'm going to hit OK. And now I'm going to go to history, and I'm going to see what happened today. And here you have it.
So one little thing, because you had a server-side sort, and I can't recall
Yes.
what you had with
Yes.
it wasn't
Yes.
it was
Yes,
a percentage
yes,
of
yes.
float, right?
I would actually need to, well, all the filters here are fine, but I would need to create a money factor. Hold on, I'll show you. So I go to,
I thought your server sort was percentage of float, but that's okay.
so it was on the other one, but it's really the efficiency that is the key for this one, I believe.
Okay.
So I'm going to say add filter, and I'm going to say, I believe, like something like 30. That should
I think that's probably
everything.
too high. It'll limit you a lot, but we'll see.
Well, let's take a look. Nothing but the crazy. I mean, isn't that exactly what you want to see? Let's fix these columns here. And again, that's part of the you know, you can very easily change your columns by coming over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of market cap, and I'm going to get rid of these guys. I'll even get rid of the float because I don't need that. And again, you're just watching me do this all in real time, and I think that should be okay. Then I'm going to change these to text headers, again, just so I know where everything is. And the only one that I didn't have was time, because I want to see as it's happening. So I can go to time, add that here, hit OK, and now this will look much more like the alert window that you would want it to kind of look like. Now, I want to make sure that everyone understood what I did, because I can repeat it. I mean, we kind of did it with an advanced window, because we went from here, and I had those columns right here. You would have had to kind of, Brad, would you say that was a very high-end maneuver that I just did?
Pretty triple diamond.
That was like a triple diamond. I agree. Okay, so here, and you can see, right? See how the prices are changing? So you can see kind of as it's happening what was going on. And here again, I mean, this one, I don't even know what that was, but I think that was another one that was a big gap up. Yeah. Okay, so here we're seeing the stuff that's really, again, moving with that kind of efficiency. And remember too, like the huge numbers, sometimes that's like too much. And again, that we're literally just experimenting with this today. Sometimes the huge numbers, it's like it doesn't take any amount, too efficient in essence. But at the very least, you are getting the names that are moving. And notice how this one, again, it's tons of different opportunities that not everyone else would be able to see. And you can refine all of this too. So when you start with that window and you just translate it, you can say, okay, well now that I see the results, well I want to kind of have it a little bit more to, like, let's say your comfort level, right? So you can say, okay, I need the volume today to be 250,000. So that now the flow is going to be completely different. It might literally just be limited to 1. And notice I think we had, see, it appeared right here. Now there you see the moves for tact.
Hey Dan, do
Yes.
do this. Do a right-click view mode, group and sort by symbol, and then run that history. And that way you can just see the symbols that triggered today. So go to view mode.
Oh, okay, right-click, group and sort by.
And this one, keep the oldest. That way we can see the very first instance of the trigger.
Ascending, Brad, ascending or descending?
Ascending's fine, but change the top one to keep the oldest.
Okay.
Yeah, and then hit OK. So now we've got the 4 symbols triggered today, and you can see when they first triggered.
And remember, we just literally transformed this window into an alert window. And by the way, just to make sure everyone knows that for everyone who is on this Q&A webinar, watch what I'm doing. Right-clicking, and I'm saving and sharing to the cloud. So now it's in my cloud. I will be able to give this window back to you. Okay, so we will be sharing all of this so that you guys can explore with it yourselves, and we're going to give you these formulas so that you can add them as well. That's another thing. Again, we can really help you kind of get started. And what happens too is a lot of times as we create these, they become filters that you no longer have to work with on a custom basis. They just become regular filters that everyone can add. So this is really, to me, Brad, the crux of what I wanted to discuss was just how we can create these custom data sets that then let you see stocks that that you may or may not know in a different way. In terms of different things like efficiency, like the most bang for your buck. I mean, aside from just patterns of double bottoms and double tops or head and shoulders, really applying numbers. And here we're just using numbers to describe all sorts of different characteristics of price movements. And there's nobody better at crunching those numbers than us and being able to turn them into actual trades. So the one last thing that I want to do before we kind of finish up is I want to show you guys what's going on with the AI. And that's right here. So this is, again, this is our staging. So the auto-generated artificial intelligence channel is kind of, if you take its dress off, this is sort of what it looks like. Okay, you can see that it's auto-sorted, and the best strategies are 12s. You have some 11s, but these are the ones that kind of, what we say right now, at least, make the cut. But we might give people access to these as well. But the 12s is what makes the cut. And notice that it automatically kind of self-adjusts to do what's easier in the market. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strategies, 1 swing short, 2 longs, but the rest, I mean, basically 4 shorts and 2 longs. That's how the AI is trading right now. So that should tell you a little bit about what's going on in the market. And again, tonight, it's going to re-update and relearn everything. And the thing that we really wanted to also express in terms of why we think this is such an incredible opportunity for everyone is that look at these numbers. This is more information that we're adding. So look how many trades it had to study yesterday to learn this pattern. 49,000 on this one, 49,000, which is basically the upper limit. There were just no more trades to be had. 49,000, 8,000, 17, 4, 49, 43, 43. And sometimes even when you have a lot, like 43, there's still nothing good. You know, the results don't factor in. So we have this is the grading system for the artificial intelligence, and we're really blending it into a window, and that's what's going to be coming out here shortly in September. So, Brad, should we? I have not been looking at the questions.
Yeah, I think we're all caught up in the questions, so we can move on back over to the PowerPoint. I do want to just note to the audience, everybody, there is a handout that you can download. It's going to have all of the different codes that Dan's going to talk about here on the next slide. So if you just over on the right hand go to webinar control panel, you should see an ability to download a file. So if you do that, you'll get all these codes that we're going to talk about right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we really encourage people to come to these webinars because here at the webinars you're able to learn things that would just take you a long time to come across otherwise, like the stuff that Brad and I are showing. And you're basically jumping in and kind of developing with us. You're being onboarded or on-ramped very quickly. So we have a promo code, capital QAWEB16. And what this will do is it's going to give you an option of 50% off of your first month, 20% off of your first entire year, or 30% off of the odds maker license. So this is the way the promotion works. So if you put in this promo code, your first month will be $49, or if you go for the yearly, it's going to be $710 instead of $888, or $770 for the odds maker. And by the way, the odds maker is that fee. It's your gateway, and it's a one-time lifetime fee. After you have it forever. And this promo code is going to last to September 18th. Okay. So that's capital QAWEB16. Brad, are they case sensitive? I think they are, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe they are.
Yeah, so you can copy it, and like Brad said, they are on the handout. And our best offer that we do right now, and this is the one that people have been taking advantage of the most to get themselves the best option in terms of money for bank efficiency, bang for your buck, as the AI channel is coming, is a full package deal that we have here, which is $1,088. Okay, this gives you the best way to experience everything, because you're really going to want everything. It's one of these things where if you know the odds maker's there and it's possibly can answer all these questions for you without you having to spend money, it's a no-brainer. So a lifetime license for the odds maker with this promotion is only $400, and of course it also comes with a custom strategy which is made from that AI staging that I just showed you. So there's a custom link, and it's bit.ly. It's a bit.ly link / and you type in save 90. And again, this is ultimately by far the best promotional offer that we have, and it's not going to be one that we're going to do much past when the AI channel really starts to bloom. So we hope you guys take advantage. There's also, Brad, what was it that Scott used to say? that we are able, if you're monthly, we can switch you. I forget how that works exactly.
Yeah, at any time we can switch you over to an annual plan, and we'll just do it so that it's seamless from the cutoff perspective.
Right, but do we, like, let's say somebody had paid a month last month, do we give them any credit for the annual or no?
I'm not sure. I think if it's within a week, then we will automatically switch it over. Otherwise, we just do it on the sync date.
Okay, okay, yeah. So everyone, I want to thank you all. I hope that, again, you continue to join us as we are trying to peel away all the old layers of how people look at data. You know, that's why you don't hear too much of us talking about MACDs and RSIs, because we know that that stuff doesn't work. So that's one of the reasons why we're focused so much on the science. Thank you for coming. You're going to get another email today that's going to have all the promo codes that are attached here. And if you have any questions at all, let me just move on to this slide. You can contact myself or Brad here's the emails, brad@trade-ideas.com, and of course info@trade-ideas.com. Please go to Facebook and like us on Facebook, Trade Ideas Pro. You can follow, if you want to hear some crazy stuff, you can follow @Trade Ideas 1 on Twitter, that's me, or a much more tamer and business conscious @Trade Ideas. And thank you. Thank you for your time. We are obsessed about helping you do better in the markets, and that's our mission. And come join us, and we're looking forward to seeing you.
Thanks, everybody.